Let's take a look at the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 1, verse 17. So, all the generations from Abraham to David are 14 generations. And from David to the deportation to Babylon, 14 generations. And from the deportation to Babylon to the Messiah, 14 generations. When we read this passage, we notice something very interesting. Here, Matthew pauses after each session and says, 14 generations. When he reaches the birth of Christ, he says, and from the exile to Christ, 14 generations. This repetition is not accidental. Actually, I feel Matthew wants us to stop and ask, why 14 generations? Why does he highlight this number again and again? What message is hidden behind this structure? When Matthew tells us that Jesus' genealogy is arranged in 3 sets of 14 generations, he is not just giving numbers, he is revealing a divine mystery. In the Bible, 7 is the number of completeness, the number of God's perfect action. So 14, which is 7 plus 7, becomes the symbol of double fullness, double perfection, double completion. So Matthew uses this structure intentionally to convey a message to each and every one of us. He says, in Jesus, everything is fulfilled. In Jesus, God's long-held promises reach their perfect moment. It is as though Matthew is saying, the time is ripe. The story is ready. Everything God began with Abraham, every hope, every covenant, every tear, every waiting finds its perfect completion in Christ. Across centuries of faith and failure, kings and shepherds, exile and return, God was quietly weaving a perfect plan. Even when human beings faltered, God continued his faithful work, shaping history toward this moment of double fullness. Just as God brought Israel's story to its fullness in Christ, he can also bring our stories, our seasons of rising, falling, and waiting to a perfect fulfillment in Christ's time. Our lives too is held by a God who works with purpose. We too have seasons of growth, times when everything goes well, when we feel strong, blessed, and moving forward. We also have the seasons of failure, when things break, when dreams collapse, when we feel like we are in exile inside of our own hearts. And then there are also the long seasons of waiting in our lives, when nothing seems to change, when prayer seems unanswered, and life feels like a quiet pause. Just as Matthew highlights the 14 generations, a symbol of double perfection and complete fulfillment, may the Lord, in this holy season of Advent, bring a double portion of His grace into your life. May He bring perfection to your plans, fulfillment to your desires, healing to your wounds, and peace to your waiting. So wishing you all a grace-filled, joyful, and beautifully fulfilling Advent season. God bless you.